beautiful wool blend skirt, and I would like to resize it to fit. Right now it's sitting low on the hips. That is not what it's supposed to do, for the record. So we want to bring it up here at the waist and have it fit. Hi, welcome to my eclectic channel. My name is Agnès and I make videos for fun. I'm going to start by taking apart the skirt, save for the zipper. It's got a zipper in the back, an invisible zipper, very nicely done. This is a skirt from the Gap. It's very nicely done, but I'll have to go in and tear it apart. So it's got a lining and a shell. What I'm going to do is to separate the lining from the shell all around the waist, but I'm not going to touch the zipper. And we'll go from there. Well, that was tedious, but I separated the lining from the shell, and I've analyzed how the skirt is constructed to see where I can take it in. The general method is to take in the shell first and then adapt the lining accordingly. There is a facing right at the top of the skirt, the waistband. It's not really a waistband, it's like it doubles. It's really a facing that happens at the waist. The front panel is dart free. And then we have the side seams. That's one place that we can take this in. And then we have two darts in the back, and they're almost invisible, but there are indeed two darts here. So that's another place where we can take in the skirt. There's also a center back seam and the zipper, but I'm really trying not to mess with that. And given that we don't have, that the front panel is all one piece, I think we'll have to treat the back panel as one piece as well. So I'm not going to touch that. But the darts, I can take that in, and the side seams. When it comes to the facing at the waist, I will need to separate it, but I'm not going to take it apart completely. I've separated the lining entirely. Sorry, it's sticking down the bottom. But this, the facing, I'm only going to separate it wherever there's a dart. So I'm going to be separated at the two darts, enough on either side so that I can take in the darts. And then I will also be separating it at the side seams. And this means the facing also has a seam. The facing is in three pieces. There's a piece from zipper to side seam in the back, so two of these, and then there's just, it's all one piece in the front from side seam to side seam. So I'm going to go ahead and undo at the side seams, separate the facing there, and at the darts. Of course, and then I will work on resizing the shell, and we'll have to come back to the facing and adjust that. And lastly, we're going to adjust the lining and then reattach the lining. I ended up undoing more of the facing than I had planned. I did clear almost from the zipper past the side seam to the front, and it's all separated now. So now I'm free to work. I got my two darts in the back and my side seams. Further, I've measured the circumference of the skirt, and it was 86 centimeters versus what it needs to be, which is 66 centimeters. And that's a full 20 to take out in 4 places. Side seams, darts, 20 divided by 4, 5 centimeters. And so if I fold in half, that means an inch. So that this will give me a starting point, an extra inch here at the darts, an inch at the side seams. So I'll start with that, and I'll pin and see how that works. I put a sweater on Tanya to mirror what I might be wearing with a wool sweater. So this pads the waist a little more. I still have some give, which is good. I always like Tanya doesn't eat and doesn't breathe, but I do. So I think this did work. The measurements were accurate. So this is just the waist. At least now the skirt sits at the waist, which is where we want it. So now I have to shape the side seams and I have to shape the darts to follow the hips and to follow the curve of the lower back. I went ahead and I pinned down both sides of the skirt and then I did only one dart. I had to pin both sides of the skirt in order to make sure that it was all fixed and even before I set the darts. So I pinned one dart in detail, the other one only has a waist pin. That way I can mirror, and for the sides I'm also going to mirror, but right now it's looking like it'll be just following the curve, the existing curve, just an inch less, 1 inch times 2, so 2 inches on each side taken off. This is my first skirt alteration, and I think possibly my first resizing done using my new form. I made a video on how I fairly recently acquired it. I've seen the debates about the usefulness of a dress form. I myself did alterations for 2 decades, more than 2 decades. Without it, I was just doing that on my own body. Miserable. So personally, I think this is really very useful. Perhaps I think that the people who say that they don't use one, maybe it's because they don't have one that mirrors their body. And if you have the wrong size dress form, then yeah, I would agree. They're pretty useless. But mine is a perfect image, and it's just been a godsend, very, very useful. So now we're finally ready to start stitching. We'll do the sides and the darts. We'll continue next time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.